And now, live on the fabulous interweb,
PTR Radio.
This is PTR Radio with Colin.
When I cut grass, I listen to the Colin show. I mean, just because when I cut grass, I know what they're saying, but plus I'm not missing that much.
PTR Radio.
The music itself was incredibly loud, and you were very soft.
Yeah, we'll see. This might fix some of that. So, all right. This is going to be an interesting episode because Mike and I have effectively changed everything audio-wise that goes on with the show.
Yeah, because he dragged me into his private hell because he can't he can't just change things himself. He's got to have an accomplice now.
Yeah. So
you can find anybody to come sit behind this mic.
Well, it kind of is what it is. Teresa says our mics are low. All right. Well, I'm gonna boost both Colin and I. And Mike is probably clipping all to hell, but I've tuned him down a little bit because he was like screaming in our ears. But that's on my side, Mike, not on yours. So.
Oh, okay. All right, because my levels look like they're. I didn't touch any of that.
Yeah. So. There we go. 1, 2, 3 for me, and we'll give Colin
3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. There we go. So this should be a little bit better. Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah, levels look better there.
Yeah.
You said yes.
Ichiban.
Cool.
Sure.
Cool. So they're just gonna have to let us know. I don't know. What the hell? It is what it is. That's kind of the way that this goes. Let's see here. Because I have pretty much turned everything off. So, there's no auto nothing. Because I hate auto. Actually, hold on. Maybe auto was a good thing. I don't know. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I guess it's a little better.
That
at least going into the screen,
that is better to me as well.
Okay, Colin, say something.
Hello. That is something.
Holy crap, that's something.
Is that too loud?
No, I can tune down on my end.
Well, anyway, this is another edition of PTR Radio, and we are doing things a little bit differently. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be trying some different things out as well, because since we've changed the way that sound comes into the broadcast, we're going to be able to do a few different things. Like, if you remember before, we used to switch full screen when one of us was talking. And so we would just take over the whole monitor, and it would be us, whoever was talking big and bright and full. And now that we've changed the audio, we have the opportunity to possibly bring that back again.
Okay.
So, that way they can see.
Suddenly, Colin is realizing I am not going to speak anymore.
Like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, so
now it sounds like Colin's not going out to the stream at all.
What? Well, Colin's going to the same channels that I am.
It sounds like it's picking up through your mic, though.
It's really loud. When I speak, I hear it in my headphones. So, to me, it sounds like it's coming from my microphone.
Yeah, and I hear it as well. So
you're here. He's here.
He's there. Wow, that's something. Considering that we're both on the same. Well, here, hold on. Let me check.
Okay, well, while you play around, I'll just talk.
You talk a little bit.
So, so when Shaggy was saying that things might be different, I was thinking maybe we'd keep up with what's hot in TV, and we'd all wear masks and have our voices changed, and then the viewers would have to guess who we were.
No.
The masked podcasters.
No. I tried that bit once, sort of, with the voice changer thing. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but when Oida Drama was doing a show not on NHB, and I had left NHB at the time, and this was before I joined PTR Radio. I was on Detox Radio as mystery host, and I was running a vocal processor that made me sound like I was 12.
So here's a piece of news that I hadn't got to you guys yet. So apparently my company is taking everybody to Vegas for the weekend.
You were fine, and then Shaggy did something,
Talk again. Okay.
and then I can't hear you again.
Can you hear me now? Or is he
Barely.
He's still playing.
No, it's still kind of like I'm hearing you through his mic.
Okay.
I don't know why.
So anyway, can you hear the story though? While he talks. No. Okay.
I don't get it.
Here, wait. Let me put my fingers in my ears. Now try it.
Okay. Is that helping? Putting your fingers in your ear, is that helping you hear?
Believe it or not, it is, thanks to the wonders of aftershocks.
As I was saying was, apparently my company is taking everybody to Vegas for the weekend. But they forgot to tell me.
Oh.
I got an email last week saying, hey, we need to know immediately if you're going. And I'm like, going to what? So, going to Vegas for the weekend. And not next weekend, but next month or something. I forget exactly when it is. Yeah, last minute Vegas trip.
Cool. Those are the best kind. Don't get a tattoo.
No, that's never going to happen.
Okay. All right. Don't be one of those guys.
Okay, say something.
Those guys are stupid. They get drunk and get tattoos in Vegas.
Yeah. Apparently, he makes good movies though. Mike likes it.
Now you're back.
Okay, so now you can hear him just hunky dory.
Now we're good.
All right, great.
Don't touch anything.
All right, I won't touch anything. So
Sit on your hands.
I have no idea why his has to be so much different than mine.
Well, it's because you never test this one. It sits way over here. It just hangs in the air without me. This is where it is the rest of the week, just like that.
Yep, pretty much. But anyway, so yeah, we are. So by overwhelming popularity, it seems like Brady Bunch is going to stick around because
Well, it's better than disco because when people start talking and their voice and their face starts getting big, then you start getting disco effects.
Well, the system was going to have a problem when we talk over each other because there's nothing in this. I can tell the system, hey, when you hear one microphone and the sound reaches a certain level, flip to this camera. But there's no way to tell it, hey, when multiple idiots are talking at the same time, go to this view instead. It's not that smart.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they actually upgraded that piece out of the product.
Wonderful.
So it had that capability, and then they removed it. But I do have a new toy that we might start using.
Oh yes, I noticed.
But I can't do it until after my big trivia event at the convention center because they don't want me messing with the regular production rig until then. So right now it's only controlling the YouTube stream. And basically
wait.
I programmed one button that says turn it on, turn it off.
You have a customer that knows enough about you to know that you mess with your rig, and they specifically told you not to mess with the rig until after their event?
Yeah, pretty much. They said, wait a second. You're saying that the program that you need is on only works with beta, the beta software? Yeah, could you not install that one for our big, tens of thousands dollar events? I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I'll wait, but it's really cool. Because when it works, it's awesome. Right now, though, it's not quite working, but it's nifty, Mike. It's a little Stream Deck, Elgato Stream Deck. I don't know if you've seen these before.
Lord.
But
Uh-huh.
each button has a little screen on it.
I know. I've seen them.
Oh, super cool. And so I'll be able to put each face on a button, and if I want to take you, I just press your face. And then boom, you're full screen. So it will be a lot easier than me turning my head to the side and, pressing the screen. So
Yeah, you already have is that a touch screen?
on that
No, in front of you.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. No.
You could have made it a touch screen and then you just touch the faces.
I probably could have, but this machine in front of me doesn't actually control the broadcast. This one over the side does, and so that's why I got to turn to the side. But I don't know. Hey, A Star Is Born's out on digital. If you want to watch it, I haven't watched it yet.
I saw it in theaters.
But Colin is trying to grow his hair out like Bradley Cooper.
No, it's time to cut it again.
No, he walked in the house and I went, ooh, he's going for the Bradley.
No, it's just I get my hair cut, and then I let it grow until it's annoying, and then I cut it again. And it is officially annoying.
That's kind of the way I feel like with my beard.
I usually let mine grow until we're going somewhere, and then I get a cut because I'm cheap and I don't want to pay for haircuts.
Yeah, that's pretty much my thing. But my problem is I go in, I'm trying to explain how I want my haircut, and just when I was up until I was say 30, I typically got my haircut by the same. Well, not the entire time. Anyway, I would go in and I would say I would like a haircut, and someone would cut my hair, and then I would pay them and leave. That was the extent of. Now they want to be told how to cut my hair, and I'm like, that's your job. Cut my hair. So, anyway, I now have it simplified to I want 2 inches on top, and I want 1 inch on the side. That's it. And that apparently that works.
Oh, see, I just go in, and I'm to the point now where I've lost enough hair where I say, okay, well, it's all clipper job, so I want number 3 on the sides and a number 4 on top. And actually, I say, just make the top pretty, whatever it takes. And they laugh, and they go, well, you're out of luck. And I say, okay, well, just, don't make it so bad. And they go, okie dokie.
See, I've never done the clipper thing. It's always been scissors, and so I have no idea.
Well, that's because you have hair. Wait.
Well, so do I, but
30 years.
I get clippers.
I
get a 1 on the sides, fade it high, and leave me a 1/2 inch on top.
You get a high and tight. Is that what they call it?
No, apparently a high and tight around here is a little different. A high and tight would make me look kind of like you.
Really? They balled out the back? That's a weird haircut.
They balled it. They balled it a lot.
Okay.
High and tight is actually like a 1 on top and a razor clipper on the sides. I'm like,
no,
that's too much. I did that one time and almost got divorced before I got married. Did it before we went to a Bon Jovi concert and picked up Kim from work because at the time she was working up by MetLife Stadium, and this is when Bon Jovi opened the stadium up. And she took one look at me and was like, "What did you do?" I said, "It's hair. It'll grow back."
Yeah. Big divorce news, though. Huge divorce announcement. Jeff Bezos getting a divorce. Going to be the most expensive divorce in history.
Well, we don't know yet.
How do you not have a prenup?
They didn't have anything.
That much.
He didn't have anything when they got married.
Nope.
I mean, he had nothing.
So technically, it is the exact definition of a marriage where everything was jointly at the same time.
I mean, if I heard a little bit of the book around the beginnings of Amazon, and she and him basically came up with the idea for Amazon jointly, you know? And so, I mean, she is entitled to half of everything that he has. She will be a large large owner of stock in Amazon. So talk about having to keep a cordial relationship with your ex, because she will be on the board of directors. You know, I mean, you can't bad talk her at all. I mean, that's gonna be crazy. You know, I wouldn't want to see my ex that much.
You know what? You know what this does mean, though. This means that Amazon Prime rates are not going to go up for at least 2 years, because everyone will point to this divorce settlement.
That's a reason why.
Great! I got to pay for Bezos' divorce.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a real question of what does she actually want, and that's just pure speculation at this point. If she's smart, what she is, then she doesn't want half of everything they have right now. She just wants
well, we know she'll end up
lots of money over time.
We know that she'll end up with a substantial cash settlement as well as stock options, which are going to pay more over their lifetime than what the cash will.
Right. The point is, she understands that the real thing of Bezos. I don't even know how to pronounce his name correctly.
I've heard it both ways by late night hosts and everything else, so I don't know.
But
let's just call him Norbit.
Yeah.
Anyway, what makes Jeff powerful is having all of that control.
His friends call him JB.
No, we're not doing that. Has all that power consolidated into a single piece of ownership. So I think she understands that too. So unless there's some actual anger going on here, which we don't have any indication of, I think she wants to keep all that power together, and she just wants to live off of it. I mean, I don't know anything about her personally. I'm just saying, if she's smart, that's probably what her plan is. That is what her plan would be if she was me.
Well, he has been seeing another woman while they were during their separation.
Yes.
Okay. Because they've been separated for a while. And evidently there was some texts in that conversation that have come out. And I guess he is quite the ladies' man when it comes to texting. He's got some smutty texts. Have you heard these, Mike?
No, and I'm not sure I want to, because the last time we had that issue, this kind of thing happen, I learned all about Carlos Danger. And
well, here, evidently he needs to read a few more of the books in the romance section of Amazon. All right, here is one of his texts. I know it sounds strange, but even little things like you suggesting I ask for extra training from Bell makes my love for you expand and grow. I am so full of love for you. My heart is growing just so it can have room for you. It's bigger than it's ever been and still swelling. Yeah, this is what he finds hot.
No.
Yep.
Just stop. Please.
So it's interesting.
Makes me wonder, did they name the Kindle as in kindle your love or Amazon?
Kindle will rekindle the fire. So yeah, I thought some of those
Kindle Paperwhite is actually code name for his goth girlfriend.
But she, I tell you what, his girlfriend, very pretty. Very, very pretty. And, she could do better and would if he didn't have Jeff Bezos' money. Because while he's not a horrible looking dude, he is very techie. All right. So he is definitely, he's nerdy, he's got the nerd look down. So,
he is the other Baron who's building rockets to,
let's just put it this way. He could play Lex Luthor in a reboot. All right.
Technically, he was played as Lex Luthor in a movie already.
Okay.
And it was a crap movie. So,
But I think we can all agree, if any of us had $36 billion, then we could have anyone that we wanted as well. So, because that's what I heard his total net worth right now, $74 billion.
mm-hmm. But most of that is not cash.
Most of it's not cash. I understand.
None of it's cash, actually. And the way the stock market's been recently.
Yeah, it might as well be jelly bellies.
All I know is if I had even a tenth of his money, boys, we would have an actual studio. We wouldn't be begging for sponsors.
Nope.
Kim and I, because the Powerball is real big here, and we have these conversations every time the Powerball goes up over like 20 million. We have these conversations like, what would you do if we won? Well, and first thing is always pay off the house.
Yep.
She's like, no, fuck that. We're moving. I said, yeah, well, we pay off the house, and then there's nothing to the bank.
Yeah.
It's all. So we pay off the house. And then even if we wanted to, we could rent it to one of our friends.
Yep.
Cheap. The latest is we have a friend who is living in an apartment. Okay, you can rent our house for half of what you're paying at your apartment. How's that?
Okay, but
give you more room and all?
You better get really good insurance, because you don't want them to like slip and fall because you didn't, as a landlord, come out and put out ice, and suddenly you don't have Powerball money anymore.
Oh no. There would be indemnity. There would be illegal contracts and what have you, and owner responsibilities.
Well, with Powerball money, you can afford lawyers.
Yeah.
Kim's car gets paid off. I get the new truck.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, credit card debt gets wiped out, and then we buy our new dream house.
Yeah, Kim gets her cat ranch.
Right. So this is where things differ. There's a little fork in the road between her and I after that point. Mine is I would keep working until my company laid me off.
Mm-hmm.
Because health insurance is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Her can open our own store. Me, that's a money pit.
Well, but you do need a write-off.
Well, that's where we kind of come back together, that we would be benefactors and basically donate a lot to the shelter, including a new facility.
Okay. Makes sense.
So that's kind of where the write-off would come from. But I don't know, the whole
I think you guys need to upgrade your lottery dreams,
aspirations.
I mean, you're talking $50 million jackpot. What are you going to do with it? $40 million is the minimum jackpot. After somebody wins, it's $40 million.
Yeah, I mean, you they say champagne wishes and caviar dreams, and you guys have got Bud Light hopes.
Big jackpots nowadays, it's like $1.5 billion. If I win $1.5 billion, I'm putting a sign out front of the house that says "free house" and then going away.
Well,
no one in this town will ever see me again.
You're saying squatters welcome? Is that just a sign you're putting out?
There's just be a stick stuck in with the deed stapled to it. First person to get the stick wins.
Doors open. Come on in.
I'm on my way to that to that housing place that they have inside Disney World now. That's where I'm going. Golden Oaks.
Yeah.
I'll be at the Golden Oaks if anybody needs me. Because if I have $1.5 billion, I want Disney security.
I'm kind of with Mike.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay off the house. I'm gonna pay off the credit cards. I'm gonna pay off the student loan. I'm gonna pay off the cars. I'm gonna pay off, the all the other accrued bills. Since we have kids, I'm gonna set the kids and their kids. I'm gonna set the grandkids up with college funds. I would make sure that the kids didn't have any extraneous debt that wasn't due to their own misadventures. All right, like I'm saying, like if they had college debt or something like that, okay, take care of that for them. But like if they bought a VCR on layaway, sorry, you're on your own for that one. That's your own fault for making a stupid decision. Okay, a lot.
I would if family members came looking for money, the cousins and all coming out of the woodwork, you're going to sit down in a boardroom in our new office building, and you're going to have to present a business case as to why you should get this money.
Yeah,
and if it's because we spent too much on our wedding.
Yeah, sorry.
See, that's why I'm saying that's my lottery dreams, because I don't play the lottery unless the jackpots are getting up to like $607 million. I just because at those points I'm like, oh yeah, I'll everybody closely related to me, yeah, you get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million, and then go away and never talk to me again. Actually,
I used to have the dream that I would start a business.
Well, yes, I would start a business. That is where the rest of the money would go.
I would start a business that would specifically somehow be called NHB Radio. Just so I could deliver the cease and desist.
Cease and desist, yeah.
Guess what, mooches? You have to stop broadcasting.
Yeah.
Go find a new home.
You would buy up radio stations in all the markets. So you would own KNHB Radio, WNHB Radio, QNHB Radio. I would just buy radio stations in markets.
I would start a new franchise of restaurants. I don't know. Whatever you want.
I don't know. Whatever you want. I don't care. It's up to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
it'd be Mexican restaurants, and it'd be a water spigot at every table.
You're in trouble now.
What?
No, she's the she's the closer to me than the distant relatives that would come out of the woodwork, get money, and go away.
Yeah, I think immediate family definitely gets taken care of.
Immediate family gets big chunks of money. That's different.
Yeah.
My mother would get a big chunk of money if she divorced my stepfather.
The weirdest settlement ever. Yeah.
Like, okay, Ma, we're moving to South Carolina. We got 15 acres. We'll build you your own little house, but he can't come.
Yeah. Oh.
Would you go to him first and say, here's a house here in New Jersey?
No.
Yeah. Oh, we actually do have topics to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we do.
So, we are now officially, have been for a little while, in the longest running government shutdown in history.
Yeah.
I actually got asked at work last week, do we know of any way that this government shutdown affects us? Because I work in government. And so we were trying to figure it out, and I'm like, not directly yet.
Not until it starts affecting federal funding.
I'm like, but give it time, and those other agencies that are affected will come to us asking for help because nobody's there.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like there's all those unknown things.
Yeah.
Like the beer companies that can't sell their beer because they can't get their beer labels approved.
Yeah, and well, and it's not just that.
The fishing, like I remember, it was the last government shutdown. The captains from Deadliest Catch had to go to Washington because they couldn't get their permits issued to go fishing during the limited window for like king crab.
Well, and like I know right now, the farmers are having problems dealing with their contracts because it's based off of a lot. The price that they're estimating for their crops is based on estimates for what they think they're going to be able to bring in. Well, those are issued by Department of Agriculture, which is affected by the shutdown. So therefore, they're not getting their reports to be able to have the information to guess how much their crop yield is going to be, to guess what the supply is going to be, to guess what the price is going to be. So it's all a trickle down. They don't have the information, so they can't come up with the prices. That's throwing the market out of balance because they can't come up with how much it's going to be. I mean, if we don't know what the frozen concentrate orange juice market's going to do, we could end up losing everything for $1. So, you know, that's the way it works. And then, and this is an interesting one because I didn't realize it, but evidently there is a bill that the president has said that he's going to sign that will give back pay to everyone that is currently furloughed. Which is interesting because every time that I've ever heard the term furlough before, it usually is without pay. Okay, we've done furlough days here at the state before, and it's basically it's a non-voluntary, voluntary day without pay is what it ends up being to help the bottom line of the budget.
Well, yeah, but see, here's the difference. That you're being furloughed. You're not expected to report to work and do your job.
Right.
So, like TSA, as an example, they're kind of expected to go to work and do their job so that the airlines can still fly.
Well, they are.
But they are not getting paid. But they're not getting paid. So, the way I understood it, and I could be wrong, is if they work during this shutdown, they will be paid for the hours worked. If they don't go to work, if you're in one of the departments where they're just basically like, nope, we're not doing anything, you're not getting paid.
Okay, and that could be what I'm not quite understanding, because I'm going to admit I'm not the smartest person out there. You know, but there are a ton of people that are calling in sick, specifically to the TSA. They say that their sick call-outs are up like 300%.
This is possibly our most political listener.
Yes. So he says, nope, every shutdown, each and every person got all their back pay. Okay. Well, that's like I said, and that's a difference between a federal and a state.
If they worked.
Now, if they're salaried, and I mean, I guess it all depends. Like, I'm thinking like an hourly worker not doing their job. They're not getting paid back pay because they didn't work any hours.
Yeah.
If you're salaried and you get paid all along, then
it says in this article here,
and I don't know what he's saying no to. So
so here this is, and this was on the
wall. I get it.
And this is on this was on the 16th day. It was this, but for federal workers who aren't salaried, that's 16 days and counting with no back pay, whether they actually went to work or not. You know.
Yeah. Apparently, the bill that was signed by Congress and signed by the president said that everybody gets back pay, whether they work or not.
Well, but interesting, because it does own that bill, as I understood it, only will apply to people who are directly employed by the federal government. I read another article that said that contractors
not paid.
Contractors here who are getting caught up in this situation, which Colin, I think you can probably relate to this a little bit. Budgetary impasses at the state and the federal level affect more than just direct employees. Obviously, the contracting business with the feds is huge, and so contractors who can't report to work because either the workplace is closed or the contracts can't get assigned, those people are essentially sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
The contracting company can't allocate those people to other projects because they've been allocated to the federal government, and eventually they believe that the stalemate will be over.
Right.
And the biggest insult here, and I don't believe this is a partisan thing, the biggest insult here is the letter that I believe it was the White House sent out to their employees going, hey, here's some alternative ways that you can earn money during the shutdown. Volunteered, ask your neighbor if they need some rooms painted, or shovel snow, or all this other bartering, basically, is what they said we need to go back to. Like, this is the Old West.
Yep.
Have a garage sale.
Yeah. Okay, I think both Democrat and Republican can agree that is the dumbest thing anybody could have put on letterhead and sent out.
Now, here at the state level, we did do the same thing. We didn't have, we went for a year where all of us contractors were not paid. We just kept working.
Yeah.
Now, what happened at the state level is that the state was still obligated to pay us, and so the state kept accruing interest on how much they owed us.
Yeah, because this is how dumb the state is.
So what happened to all of us contractors is we found rich groups led by ex-governors who would buy the debt from us for dollar on the dollar. So we got paid 100% of what we were owed. And the rich people kept the debt from the state and got all the interest.
They got paid 110%.
Oh, they got paid more than that.
Yeah, well,
that was a lot of interest.
It's 1% monthly accruing.
Who's the stupidest
it's the dumbest thing ever, man. And what's funny is I was actually I was recording a meeting for somebody, and they were dealing with small contracting companies who wanted to work with the state, and they were talking about how most of these small companies, we're talking about like janitorial services and stuff like that, and we're talking about also minority-owned companies in this particular instance. They don't have the money to pay their staff while they wait on being paid by the state, because the earliest you're going to get paid by the state is 90 days after you bill. The earliest. And after that, then you're eligible to put in what's called a hardship request so that your payment can be expedited after 90 days after you've invoiced. And the guy in charge of the committee said, well, is there any way that we could get the state to pay within 15 days of being invoiced? And I had to edit out all the laughter in the room from the state people because it was hilarious.
Figure out how to get the state to win Powerball?
Because the state can't even we can't even get it from the mailroom to enter it into the system in 15 days. I mean, that's how long things take. But I'm sure New Jersey's different, Mike. I'm sure New Jersey has a very efficient system, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm sure they figured this all out.
We recently had to buy some software.
Yeah?
Yeah, the company waited until they actually received the check in the mail and they cashed it before they gave us the software.
So what, you were without it for a year?
Oh, no, it wasn't a year, but it was several months to get the entire purchase through.
Yeah, the average time to pay a bill here is 9 months.
And this was a $25,000 purchase.
Oh, but we digress.
I think it was the first time they ever worked with the government. Isn't the problem? But
yeah,
still.
Listen. I hate our government here in Jersey, and it's the dumbest state in the union. There's no two ways about it.
I don't know. We've had more governors go to jail than you.
Governors going to jail, yeah, but we have in New Jersey, we have more townships, school districts than the entire rest of the Northeast combined. And each of those towns has their own council, their own business administrator, their own police chief. Each of those school districts has their own administration board. That's why school taxes are almost 60% of our property tax bills. Because everybody has to pay for all of this crap. And that's why our taxes are among the highest in the nation.
Okay, I was just looking it up here. All right, so New Jersey, according to the 2018 census, had 9,032,873 people. Okay? Illinois, 12,741,080 people. All right? School districts. Okay? New Jersey, you are up there, Mike. You're fourth in the nation for the number of school districts per state at 616. New York is third, 697. Then you get to Illinois, 870. And then, I'm sorry, you are fifth. New York was fourth. Illinois is third. Second is California, 1,026. And then Texas, 1,033.
Yeah. By the way, our phone number is still up there, but we actually are not taking phone calls today.
Yeah.
The phone is not plugged in.
No. Oh, that was a mark. That was.
I know. We forgot to mention it, so I decided to.
Yeah, but feel free to chime in on YouTube or Facebook. The little thing he's working today.
So we got Mom Blair saying here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dental. Don't get me started on dental bills. You know, you can be all done with your braces before you get paid for them. You know?
And this one here.
Flee to Tennessee.
Listen, I've gotten into arguments with you before. I've gotten into arguments with you before, Aunt Marcy. Stay on the mountain, make your smoothie.
But no. So
and the only reason I would want to go to Tennessee,
moonshine,
Cherry to King Lawler. Because anytime I hear Tennessee, I hear Andy Kaufman singing, "I'm the king of Tennessee, I'm the big old king of Tennessee." When he was in that wrestling thing, that's all I could think about. Although Memphis, you got
Memphis hot chicken is a wonderful thing.
You got the celebrity Kevin Reeves living down there. So,
yeah.
I tell you, I actually went I have visited the mountain, and on the way we stopped in Memphis, and we actually went to the the Pickers show, the American Pickers.
Oh, so you went to antique archaeology?
We went to antique archaeology. That was you could actually see some of the stuff from the TV show up there. It was mostly a place that sells shirts that say Antiques Archaeology on it.
Of course.
Well, yeah. You get the same thing if you go to see the gold and silver pawn shop or any of those places that have been featured on TV.
Which I would not be visiting while I'm in Vegas. But
speaking of TV, okay, and this is a big topic. I think probably with a lot of our listeners is AT&T, Dish, Comcast are all raising their cable TV rates to counter the cord-cutting movement. Now, we've talked a little bit about this before. Specifically, I think we've talked about things that we use to stream television with. Your Rokus, your Apple TVs, your hacked Fire Sticks, whatever, your Apple, all these different devices, and how they have, plus the advance of digital TV, over-the-air TV, how that has really, kind of caught on. I've heard people say that they hook up a digital antenna and there's channels that they didn't even know existed that they can pick up. Yep. And I will say it is a huge movement you know, if it wasn't for my wife and the kids that she watches, I probably would not have Dish Network in my home. You know, I just because I watch everything online. I mean, I don't really care about live television. I'm not a sports person, and I know that that is a huge decision maker for a lot of folks on whether to cut cable or not. Because, you know, while some sports have done live television, like I know wrestling has now got their own streaming app. I believe the NFL is streaming some of their football games, not all of them though, because they're broadcast deals. You know, I don't think the NBA has gotten there yet. I know that NHL, Mike, didn't they do a streaming deal?
I think so.
So I think
they yeah.
So I mean, I think that's catching on where now you can see some of it online, but definitely not all of it. You know, so but as those things grow, I think they are going to see more and more people cutting the traditional cord. Although, try as we might, there's no way to really get away from most of the content providers out there, the AT&T or the Comcast or the there's no more Time Warner. I don't. Well, there might be for right now,
Spectrum.
but I think that's going to change. Spectrum.
Well, Time Warner Cable is now Spectrum.
Okay. There's
because Warner, the media portion was purchased by AT&T.
Yeah. So there's no way to get away from those guys right now because they are your internet connection. Unless you're one of the, like 2 towns that has Google Fiber, you know, that is still the pipe that brings everything into you. So
Right.
you're still going to be relying on them for something.
Yeah, and not all of the channels are set up yet. Like my parents have a Fire TV, you know, one of the actual Amazon Fire TV built-in Toshiba things, and so they've been actually that TV does not have access to the cable line. The cable line that wall doesn't work. So they've been watching all live TV through the apps on the TV, which means they keep asking me, so do you think we can get rid of the rest of the cable? And I'm like, no, because the only reason the apps work is because you log in through your cable connection to say that you have already paid for those channels.
Which is interesting because even channels like NBC, ABC, Fox, which are over-the-air channels, you still have to log into as a cable or other provider.
Right.
You know,
The only channel that I'm aware of that doesn't require that is the CW. The CW. Am I glitching here?
You're back.
Okay. The CW, you don't have to log in or nothing.
Yeah.
Watch any of their shows, which I think is interesting. I don't know what's going on, why I'm jittery all of a sudden.
Nah, I don't know either.
But then CBS has their own app, their own service that you can pay for. Does not give you live television, but does let you watch day after if no ads. Then a lot of NBC stuff will show up on Hulu, and we're not exactly sure what's going to happen to Hulu with Disney taking them over, or then Disney's creating their own service. So it's a lot of things happening. Now, what I found interesting, I actually had a story that's stuck up there about that. Some people are complaining that everybody is creating their own streaming service. Now, so people are complaining, oh, this is anti-consumer, that everybody's going to have their own streaming service, and then you have to pay for everybody separately. And I'm like, wait a second. Isn't that what we're all complaining that we wanted in the first place? That we didn't want to pay $120 to Dish Network or wherever for all these channels. We wanted to pick individual channels, and now all the companies are like, oh, we need to get on the internet and sell you a service directly for our stuff. And now we're complaining that that's anti-consumer?
Yeah, but I think what people are complaining about is that they're being nickel and dimed. Okay?
Yes.
And they didn't understand that that's what would necessarily happen.
Right. They were asking, can we please be nickel and dimed? And now they're getting it.
But they're also because of the way that the larger corporations, like the Disneys, for example, which Disney is a great example because Disney now owns Marvel. Disney obviously owns Disney products. What other studios does Disney own now?
Well, Lucas, Fox.
Okay, so
they own The Simpsons, they own The Family Guy, they own...
yeah. So tell me a major motion picture studio that isn't going to be affected, that they won't have a monopolistic control over. If they go and create their own, tell me a competitor that they will have.
Sony.
Okay, but that's it. All right.
Sony, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but you won't be able to. I mean, the issue I think is that then Disney will be able to mandate whatever their price is.
Yeah.
And you won't have, because we have actually moved away from physical media. I mean, look at how small the DVD section is, the Blu-ray section is. Okay? And now we're pretty much moving to all online content.
Yep.
Okay? Tell me that you're not going to be hamstrung to purchasing their package if you want to see whatever their products are.
Well, as long as
no
I can
matter
use
what they set.
As long as I can use Disney gift cards, I don't care.
So,
I mean, and I think that's the issue. You know, I am.
No, I agree. I think.
what the hell
but
was that?
that's
I don't know.
But that's why Disney had to buy Fox in the first place, because you have places like Hulu, not Hulu, Netflix and Amazon. They're actually directly competing. They've jumped into this category beforehand, so Disney sees that they need to jump in there as well before they get swallowed up themselves by a Netflix or Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this article that we're talking about here talks about the price increases for the traditional cable providers. All right. So, for example, DirecTV is raising their rates from $3 the English, raising rates on all English language video packages by $3 to $8 a month, while hiking fees for regional sports networks from $1 to $1.90 in most markets. Dish said it's increasing prices for English language video packages between $3 to $5 a month. You know, Altice USA, the fourth largest cable operator, recently raised rates by 3% on Optimum subscribers. Comcast, the largest U.S. cable company, is raising its fees for regional sports by $1.50 on average, for its fees for broadcast channels by another $2 a month. You know, and this is on top of price rates that are just normal price increases, because tell me that every year or every other year they don't just increase them just to shore up the bottom line anyway. You know, this has, and this is going to be one of those where, you know, just like Netflix just recently upped their charge, there is going to be a certain portion of the population which says, hey, I was already on the fence about paying for you in the first place, and now you've upped the charge. Now, you just kicked me off the fence. I can live without you.
Yeah. And that's all. I'm curious to see who is actually going to own these regional sports channels.
Well, and that is a big issue because they were broken up here recently. Mike, you probably are more well versed on this than I am. But the sports channels were recently more broken up so that they could actually be owned individually by broadcast area. I think
but what happened is that
rights?
Fox regional sports networks are being forced to be sold off by Disney. So Disney can't keep them. So Disney has to sell them all. And Fox has announced that they're not buying them.
Right.
So we don't really know who is going to buy all of the Fox regional channels.
Well, but in theory, now one person would have to buy all of them. They could be bought piecemeal.
Yes, they could be bought piecemeal, yes.
So you could find, you know, a local New Jersey regional sports outlet bought by PTR Radio. So you can say hockey tonight brought to you by PTR Radio.
But you're really hoping for that Powerball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
I was just going to say, this is elevating to new levels now.
Yeah. Well, you know.
So here's the thing.
First aftershocks in the world.
You know, when you first post the article, okay, they meant the headline of the article that you shared to us in prep was AT&T, Dish, and Comcast all raising cable TV rates. So let's back up to just talk about those three.
Yeah.
Dish is the only one that is not, that I'm aware of, affiliated with an internet service provider, meaning AT&T offers internet service.
Right. And DirecTV
Comcast does.
dumped into this, but it's owned by AT&T. Comcast and AT&T, both internet providers. You're right. Your Dish is the only one here. that doesn't directly issue it. So
they provide internet.
Dish does provide internet, but you can't say that.
But they are not a major.
You're not going to say that cord cutters are using Dish internet.
I have no idea. I've never used Dish internet.
Trust me, they're not. I have used it, and it's horrible. And it caps at 5 gigs.
Is it actual Dish, or is it is that HughesNet?
HughesNet was DirecTV, so I think it's separate.
A Dish Network, I think, has their own thing, but it's I think they basically sell the HughesNet service. But I mean, when you get into ping times of 800 milliseconds and you're capped at 5 gigs a month, you're not streaming on that. All right, you're checking email. You're a grandma checking email, and that's it.
What Dish does do is they do provide their TV service over the internet instead of using their dishes. But I don't know much about that.
Yeah. Well, and they're not the only ones. DirecTV is moving in that market too.
Yeah.
So here's the big thing, right? Well, DirecTV has DirecTV Now.
Right. But that's really just AT&T's thing, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, so here's my thought about like the cable companies. Just using that as a general statement.
Yes.
And this is my personal opinion.
Right.
Moving to a streaming model makes the most sense just from a bottom line. Because you don't have to worry about maintaining the inventory of cable boxes and dishes and tuners and all of that. You have an app that you can load onto a third party, you log in, and you're done. So people can choose Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV. The hardware portion is no longer part of your business model. And that is a huge expense because then you also have the technicians with the truck rolls.
Well, but you're still gonna incur some of that expense because, like we said, you're still an internet provider, and the number of modem installs.
But the internet providers, that's a smaller portion, and the truth of the matter is, even the modem is declining because people are buying their own.
Right. Yeah.
Smart people are buying their own
because they see the economy in it. Really.
Right.
So
the more if I was a company, the more I get away from owning and providing that hardware in the home. I mean, there was a study, I saw an article where they tried to find out what it costs Comcast to buy one of their set-top boxes. And apparently it takes an act of God to get that information because it's such a closely guarded secret. Because the margins are ridiculous. But what this does, what's going to happen here is the again, just my opinion, the streaming services are going to price themselves up because right now it is a cheaper alternative.
Yeah.
And typically they're bundling with other deals like, T-Mobile subscribers can get Netflix for free.
Yeah.
AT&T cell phone, I think you could stream DirecTV for free if you were a DirecTV subscriber. There's combo deals to be had there. But everything is going internet based. So shifting your business model to being an internet service provider from a content provider or being a cable company. All right. It's not just streaming. You've got your phone. You've got your Alexas, your smart everything. Everything is requiring an internet connection now.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense to shift your business there.
Yep. Now, I think what's going to be interesting is, so what's happened, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but what's happened in the movie space is that some of the services like Ultraviolet and stuff have now been superseded by Disney's My Movies Anywhere, which is if you buy a Blu-ray and you take your code and you stick it in, My Movies Anywhere now syncs those movies across all of the major services. So if you buy a movie on Amazon, you can get the same movie on iPlayer or any of the other things. Google, Microsoft, all those different services. You buy the movie one place and it shows up at the other places. You don't have to buy it again. And I think something very similar is going to happen. Now, it looks like Amazon has been trying to get the head of this, because right now, if you have like Amazon Prime, then you can buy HBO and you can buy all these. You can add additional services to your Amazon account. I've noticed Comcast has been doing something very similar. So if you are on your set-top box, you can see Netflix. I think they've added some other ones. I think actually Amazon Video is now showing up on Comcast.
I know on Dish Network you can go to I think it's like channel 99 or something like that, and you can log into your Netflix. Now you can't browse the 4K or the HDR feeds, but it does give you your general, HD Netflix feed. So
now what's going to happen at some point is someone's going to create some, like, you log in once and then here is your catalog of services that you can add to your account, and then you can get to everybody. I think that's going to have to happen to make people happy.
Which is also going to make it easier to hack your stuff.
Yeah.
But I digress.
And that's kind of, that's one of the reasons why I like the Roku is, that gets as close to me as possible for that, as I can, at least within one box. I don't have to change between devices. I've got everything in one box, which I do like.
Here's what I don't like is, yes, technically we are kind of going to an a la carte pricing model that, people clamored about for years, that I don't want to pay for all of these stations I don't watch. Okay, now we're getting there. And you said nickel and dime, but I don't think it's nickel and dime, because these services cost, for what you pay for basic, and I'm only using DirecTV now because I know the pricing.
Right.
$35 a month for the basic plan on DirecTV now. Okay? That'll get you 3 of these streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want CBS All Access, okay, there's one, and you got Channel 2. What else do you want?
Yeah.
You want HBO? Okay, guess what? Now it's almost like playing a fantasy TV game where you have a salary cap.
Well, yeah, and you don't know which one's going to be most beneficial during what season, because during the year, if you buy HBO just for Game of Thrones, it's good for you for what, 10 weeks out of the year, and then it's no good.
Well, okay, that gets to the exact point I actually want to talk about, which is, at what point of all this do we get to the point where we can get rid of advertising as being what pays for this? Because advertising means that the only thing made for television are whatever interests 20-year-olds, or is it 18-year-olds through
18 to 35?
18 to 35-year-olds. Okay, so we no longer qualify.
No.
Advertisers do not care what TV we like. In fact, if we like TV, they're like, oh, they don't want to pay for that. Which is why you either watch TV with advertising that is doing things we don't care about, or, okay, some advertisers do pay for daytime television, so that's where you find out about diapers for adults.
The premium time slots for advertisers are The Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and Primetime, and what they define as primetime.
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune and stuff, that gets the senior
That's the older
audience.
crowd, yeah.
But all the primetime, that gets the younger than us crowd.
Yeah.
And that's why people make fun of people when their favorite show gets canceled. And this guy online, the TV Grim Reaper, makes fun of them for being mad. Well, me and all my friends watch it, yes, but you're not in the ratings, so you don't matter. And so, anyway, the point is, how do we get to the place where we can actually choose where our money to these streaming services go, to push money to the shows we actually want to watch.
So, I mean, that comes back to crowdsourcing TV shows and movies.
Exactly. I think we're going to get to that place eventually where we start doing that.
We're started down that path already, because if you look at, I forget the name of the guy, but the guy who created The Librarians and
exactly.
The Good Samaritan and stuff like that. Crap, I can't remember. But anyway, I mean, he crowdsourced several of his movies. And we've seen some other directors do theirs. The people who were doing the Star Trek homage that ended up getting shut down. I mean, that's how they crowdfunded theirs. So, I mean, it definitely has a possibility where we're going to get to a point where, films don't belong to, they belong to the studios, yes, but then they're just leased, if you will, to the providers.
Right.
And, they can go to multiples.
Hey, me personally, I don't want to spend money on a show on the internet, like buying it on Amazon or something, when I know that all I'm doing is giving money to Amazon and the corporate companies, and not to the people who made the show. But if we had a service that said, oh, if you want this show to keep going, pay more money just to this show, and that money will be used to create this show.
So you want?
I would be very willing to do.
You want the Wikipedia of entertainment?
No, I want the Patreon of TV.
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking the whole fantasy football salary cap thing kind of sparked an idea. Like, let's say I log on. I want to create an account with Sling TV or PlayStation View or one of those. You pay $35 a month. That gets you X number of points.
Uh-huh.
And you can pick the channels you want. Each one is assigned different point values. You can pick the channels you want as long as you don't exceed your allotment. And that's your package. Now, the downside to that is I'm sure that the point system would be based on what the carrier charge is.
Yeah.
So you'll get a better understanding of which companies are charging more for their programming, good and bad. Because obviously, if Channel 9 is charging as much as CBS, then that's a problem, obviously. But it would also give the companies leverage, because now you've got firm data of how many of our subscribers want your programming. And you're not basing it off of Nielsen Live plus 12 ratings. It used to be, okay, who watched this live? Okay, that's our rating. Now, then it was Live plus 2, because they start tracking the DVR usage. Then it was Live plus 7, for the people that stream it.
Yeah.
A week after it airs, because that's when we make it available for free online.
But I think what you just said is there's a important word there you said about the data. For this to work, I think it's very important that the data is visible to us. If a certain show says, if you want to say this show is expensive. This is a science fiction show, and it uses lots of special effects, and so it's more expensive. It's going to require X number of points for this show to be made. And if I'm coming in and I'm spending points on that show, I want to be able to see that my points are actually necessary for this show to be made.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it at channel level, but you're looking at it actually at a level, a more granular level.
I'm looking at.
So instead of like a 5-to-1 scale of points for channels, maybe you get 1,000 points, and you can pick assign it to the individual shows under that.
Yes,
under
that's
those
what
channels.
I'm saying. I'm saying here's a season. Here's a season of this show. We're letting you watch this show. We need this many points to be able to say that we're going to have season 2 of this show. So I have to get a whole bunch of friends to put in points on this show because this is a great show.
Well, yeah, but the downside to that, well.
But if this show is like Game of Thrones and everybody's watching this show, then I want them to not be able to just increase the number of points that they want for that show just because more people want that show. I want them to have to be truthful on how many points it takes to make the show.
This becomes a record-keeping nightmare as shows get canceled and end and new shows are debuting. So basically, the onus is going to be on the subscribers to go in, I'll say monthly, to confirm and reallocate their points.
I say they allocated the points during the first series. So they watched the first series, they allocated their points there. I see what you're saying. You're saying, well, they decide not to make the second series. I see. Yeah.
I'm giving X number of points to Game of Thrones. This is the final season of Game of Thrones.
Yep.
So after that airs, those points now have to be I have those points to give somewhere else. So I have to log in and give those points somewhere else. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right.
That just complicated.
That's why
everybody.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Patreon works really well. So just use the Patreon model.
Speaking of things that are complicated,
yes,
and to get off movies just for a few. All right,
we're talking about TV shows things.
TV shows, movies, they're all the same. All right, now we talked about government a little bit earlier in the show. All right, and it has come to our attention that possibly that there has been some Russian collusion. All right, that may have affected some people that over a good population of the U.S. and possibly some other nations in a contest that we run, and it's with a heavy heart that we must admit that there is a possibility that there has been Russian influences in our death pool. Mike, you brought this to our attention with a special prosecutor. Can you give us some more information?
Yeah, I'm looking for the actual article here.
Which technically I'm actually logged on as Shaggy, but
okay, so apparently, for those who participate in the death pool and know about the death pool, here our death pool points calculations. The cornerstone of our calculation is based off of the world's oldest person on record, which 122?
Yes.
126.
I thought it said it was
122.
122.
122. And just hours into the new year, Russian doctors, hackers, everyone started flooding the internet with conspiracy theories and alleged proof that this record is not correct.
Obviously brought on by our death pool going live.
And the whole explosive claim is that Jeannie Calment, who had the title, was not really Jeannie, but her daughter, Yvonne, who assumed her identity when Jeannie died.
Oh, stolen identity is involved here too? Tell me that there's not a border crossing as well.
Well, is there? Let me see.
So,
and apparently there is a forum or an online forum called the 110 Club, which is dedicated to supercentenarians, aka people 110 years or older. The Wikipedia page for Jeannie Calment has undergone many edits that cast doubt upon her age.
But officially on it right now, it says she died at 122 years and 164 days.
The next oldest person on record is an American, Sarah Knaus, or Knaus, Knauss, who died at 119. A 3-year gap that scientists say is a statistical light year away. Because once you get to a certain age, every year is a milestone.
Well,
basically
maybe,
what they're saying.
Maybe God really liked Jeannie. He said, "You're not done yet." It could happen.
Then there are also, where do they say it? There's somewhere in here where they say that there are whole towns of Russians that live to be 150 and older. I'm like, what?
Well, I mean, if you look at it, Abraham was 175 years old when he died. So, 122, not that bad. So, you know.
I don't know. I find it odd that all of a sudden, you know, and they're blaming everything on Russian.
Yeah. Well.
I find it.
Or Mexican.
Yeah, where's Dune now when we're talking about the Russians? Well, Dune Jumper, you're not riding in now, are you?
He probably saying, but Hillary.
but Benghazi.
but
Hillary,
email server.
Fell, coughing.
Covfefe.
Wall.
Sorry, couldn't help it. It's too easy. We love you.
Oh!
So, hamburger. It's okay. Have a hamburger. It's okay.
Hamburger with the side of Covfefe.
Yes. Take a hamburger with a large Covfefe. All right. So.
And, okay, I just got to say, because this one popped up on my Twitter feed, and I can't this one. Alyssa Milano has officially gone off the deep end because now she's comparing the "Make America Great." She said, "Make America Great Again" hats are the new KKK hood.
Well, is that in response to that child who decided to stage a protest at a Indigenous Peoples March?
Oh, you mean the one that now the video is surfacing that the indigenous people actually went up to them and he just stood there, not that he approached the indigenous people to like get in their face?
I don't know. I didn't watch the video. We
haven't watched the videos. I specifically don't watch
I read the headline. That's all I do. I'm a good American.
Okay, so the headline was originally that the kids with the Make America Great hats went up to the indigenous people during their march and were just standing there face to face, like staring them down. But then the whole video was released today, and these kids all had their backs turned when the indigenous people came up marching, banging their drums, and then turned around and started clapping along with the drums because they thought they were there as part of the same protest. And next thing you know, stuff's getting edited out.
Well, yeah.
So,
no matter which side you're on, the edit button's your friend. It's just like statistics. I can make it say anything I want.
What I read was that the boys were not there for a protest. They were there for a school trip.
Yeah.
Perhaps. But they started doing like a chant, and then the drums came in, and they thought they didn't even see the drums. They just heard the drums coming closer, and they thought it just happened to be in time with the chant that they were doing. I mean, ridiculous, boy. All I know is 2020 can't get here soon enough. Because with the names of the candidates that are already being tossed around, you thought the last election was a shit show. Pardon my French.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to make my head explode at this point if that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez announces she's running for president.
Well, let's see here. So far, from the Democrat side, Elizabeth Warren, Richard Ojeda, John Delaney, Andrew Yang, Julian Castro, Tulsi Gabbard, Kristen Gillibrand, and then there's question marks about Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar.
Kamala Harris announced it today. That she formally announced it.
Oh, here's my favorite part.
Michael Bloomberg.
How many people talk about the one? I think it was Gillibrand. How many people said, "Oh yeah, she announced on the Colbert Report," which Colbert just made so much fun of.
Joe Biden.
Because the Colbert Report has, first off, it's the Colbert Report, and it's been off the air for several years now.
Yeah. Sherrod Brown, Marianne Williamson, Eric Swalwell, Jeff Merkley, Tim Ryan, John Heckelooper, Jay Inslee, Terry McCullough, Stephen Bullock, Beto O'Rourke. Oh, no. My wife and I made a decision not to rule anything out. But you said you weren't going to run for president. Eric Garcetti, Eric Holder, Stacey Abrams. No. You couldn't win governor. Mitch Landrieu, Andrew Gilliam. Andrew Gilliam? Wasn't that from, like, the Head of State movie? That was Chris Rock. Pete Buttigieg.
Listen,
Bill de Blasio.
I think Bill de Blasio, yeah, okay. Cut me a piece. I think
and
that...
Go ahead.
Now I just completely lost my train of thought because you got Bill de Blasio, really?
I don't say Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She is only 29, so she will not be eligible for running for president for another 6 years.
Okay. But she could be vice president.
I don't think so.
No, I don't believe so.
I think you have to be eligible to be president to run for vice president.
Okay.
Now, she could be Speaker of the House, and then both of the vice president and president could be killed. Then she could be president.
To be vice president, an individual must be a natural-born citizen, be at least 35 years old, and be a resident of the U.S. for at least 14 years.
No, actually, I take that back. I don't think... I think you have to... It says that you have to be eligible. So even if she was Speaker of the House, she would not be allowed to become president. So you're safe.
So that it would go to...
Your head will not explode.
So, well, it's only... Look, the way she's going, it's only a matter of time before she tries to run. So
that's what Obama did.
So the only...
Two-term senator? Yeah.
That was one term.
Oh, well, I don't remember.
I think he just became senator and then became president.
Well, it's a.
And let me tell you something, Cory Booker. If Spartacus tries to run, I just don't know, man. But you notice how many female candidates names compared to previous years.
Oh yeah, big time.
Right?
And let's put this out there: we are not against a female candidate. We just want.
No, we are not.
Regardless, we're not even saying what party we're affiliated with. We just saying we want one that's a decent chance. I think everybody could agree Hillary didn't have a chance in hell. Why they said let's run her.
No, I will not agree with that.
You won't.
I think Hillary did have a chance in hell. I think Hillary was the favorite, and Hillary blew it.
Okay.
She didn't take Trump seriously. So you could be mad at folks. You could be mad at folks who voted for Trump. You could be mad that Trump is in office, but turn around and go back and look at some of the debates. She didn't take him seriously at all.
I'm sure she didn't. I will definitely agree with that too. But I also think there was a segment of the Democratic Party that said, well, we're going to run her regardless of what anybody else says or what the populace says.
Well, that's not even a think. That is a known fact.
Yeah, you know,
because other people, I can't remember the exact details. If it was Bernie had more, I think like Bernie had like more popular votes, but she had all of those
super
party
delegates,
leaders,
super
the super
PACs.
delegate crap. Yeah.
The super delegates, yeah.
Okay, so before we jump into movie time, I thought I would talk about a new addition. So I have jumped into the smartwatch realm.
Oh, yes.
Colin, I know you don't actually have yours today, so I have a smartwatch now.
No, mine was uncharged during the Great Purge.
Oh, okay. So I
we should probably talk about the next 6 minutes as he put it in the title.
Yes. So I went and purchased a TicWatch. This is the TicWatch E. And of course, wouldn't you know it, a week after I get the TicWatch E, they announce, hey, the TicWatch 2E is going to be coming out here within the next month. Oh, all right. That's fine. But this actually does everything that I need it to do. I had certain qualifications for a smartwatch. I might have talked about them before. I wanted to control music. I wanted to deny a call. I want to read my messages on it. And that's about it. If it does some of the sporty stuff, all the better, but it doesn't have to. This does exactly what I need it to do without too much flair. The only downside that I have had to this watch so far has been this band. All right? This band is meant for people with skinny wrists because I am using either the last hole or the next to last hole on this to put it on my big wrist. And I'm sorry, but there's not a lot of fat on my wrist, okay? It's bone. There's just nothing I could do about it. Now it's a 20 millimeter thing, so I can replace the strap. That's not a problem. In fact, I ordered one. I just hope that it's actually longer. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a huge fan of silicone bands, so I got one that's actually canvas this time, so hopefully it won't be as bad. But otherwise, I like the watch. It lasts... My usage, I have found, I can get almost 2 days out of it.
Nice.
Which is pretty good for a smartwatch. But I also don't run the Wi-Fi. I just use Bluetooth on it and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty good. But let's talk about the reason why Colin almost wasn't here today.
Yeah, so let me... this is what I actually posted.
Mm-hmm.
Warning, there's a possibility that I missed the show tonight. I went home early Friday to take the trendy norovirus diet cleanse. Have it out of my system now, as well as anything else that was in my system. Still feel a little weak, which I do. So I'll see how I feel closer to showtime, which I felt good enough to come.
Okay, now, he said... Now, did you actually take a cleanse, or were you just using hyperbole there?
Oh, that's total hyperbole. This was not on purpose. Nobody gets norovirus on purpose.
Well, it's funny, because I actually thought that you were speaking truly, because... there are people that have been talking about neuro cleanse diet and in association with viruses and everything. So I actually thought that you either got sick on purpose or that you somehow, took one of those trendy cleanses. And so I thought that you had willingly put yourself through the ultimate purge.
No, this was not willing. It was completely unwilling. I do not recommend. If anybody does actually want to try to do this on purpose, don't. Please don't.
So, but I mean, I've had similar before. It's not fun.
No.
Where you find out how comfortable you can make your bathroom.
Yeah.
At one point, I remember being so bad that I did put a cell phone charger in my bathroom.
Yeah, it's like when you get to the point where you're like, oh, yep, there's the Gatorade coming back. To even change color. That's nice.
But,
Wow.
But I just I thought that you had actually taken one of those cleanses. So joke's on me, I guess.
Oh no,
because I actually told the wife, I'm like, Colin may not be here tonight. He did one of those cleanses and he still hasn't recovered yet. And she goes, he did.
No.
Why did he do that?
Y'all don't remember when I did colon blow?
No,
I did the 3-day colon cleanse.
I vaguely do, but
On purpose.
yeah, wasn't that in preparation for a surgery though?
No.
Okay.
That was because some smart dude was like, you need to cleanse your colon. I said, yeah. I eat a lot of red meat. Probably do. Lived off a freaking nasty ass snot consistency drinks and capsules and Gatorade for 3 days and wound up losing, I think, 10 pounds.
Ugh.
I should have weighed myself to see if I did lose any pounds. Because that sounds pretty close to my diet was Gatorade and turkey broth.
You know, I remember when I had mono back in high school. The only thing that I could keep down for 3 days was watered down Sprite.
Oh,
That was
that's
it.
gotta taste horrible.
That's all I could keep down.
Oh,
That's how bad, how sick I was. But
that's no good.
let's move on.
I know the wife is sick right now, and we have this agreement that we try not to contaminate the other person, and so the other person will we'll leave the bedroom. You know, whoever's sick will leave, or the other person will volunteer to leave. And I had just fixed our bed so that it's actually comfortable again now, and so I didn't want her to go and sleep on her couch. Which, you know, you sleep on a couch, it's fine, but her couch is not in the best of condition. It would hurt her hip in the next morning and everything. And then I knew it was going to be several nights in a row, so I'm like, no, you're not going to do that. I will go sleep in the spare bedroom. Now, the spare bedroom is mostly used for the little kids when they spend the night or whatever. It still has the mattress on the bed from when Becca lived here, so it's like a 20-year-old mattress. Now, most mattresses get super soggy, you know, and soft when they get older. This one somehow got hard as a rock. All right, it's like sleeping on the floor. In fact, the floor has
rusted.
The floor has more give. So what I have done to make it more usable is I have taken a comforter, folded it in half, king size comforter, folded it in half, put it on top of the mattress. Another comforter, folded it in half, put it on top of that one. Then like 2 more blankets, done the same thing. Now it's somewhat usable, you know, but I am to the point, because I used to just sleep down here in my office, throw a couple of couch cushions down on the floor and just nap out. But I am to the point now where I am too old for that stuff. All right, I can't get up from laying down on the floor like I used to. It's just not happening anymore. So it's actually been not too bad. And it's not that, you know, the wife hasn't been hacking or anything, but she can't breathe, so she doesn't sleep well at night. And I'm one of those people where I need it to be dark and quiet and for me to sleep. So it's just worked out better that way. I know not everybody does that, but, you know, I find it works well for me.
Well,
So,
do you remember during the state picnic, I slept on 2 chairs.
yeah.
With 2 chairs in the ottoman. I had my head on one, the ottoman underneath my hips, and my feet on the other chair.
Yeah. Yeah, we did what we had to do there.
Yes.
So, you know. All right. Now, Mike, before we get into our double feature movie review, you sent a list of some movies that have gotten 0% Rotten Tomatoes ratings, and you said we might want to add some of those into our mix.
Okay, did either of you guys watch that video?
I didn't watch the video, but I've seen the list, and I could swear we've gone through this list a little before.
Well, there was only like 3 movies in there.
Oh, was there? Okay.
Maybe 4.
Because I just looked up, you know, movies that earned a 0% Rotten Tomatoes rating. And there's movies in here which I know we've talked about. Like, we talked about Manos, The Hand of Fate. In fact, at one point it was on our list.
It should never be on our list.
It's a horrible movie. Now, one we didn't talk about, Ballistics X versus Sever. Actually, was on my watch. It was on a watch list at some point for me. Because, well, you know, it has Antonio Banderas and what's her
Lucy
name?
Liu?
Lucy Liu. So how could that not be a good movie, right? There's a Highlander movie on there, Highlander 2.
Highlander 2. Listen,
Yes.
Highlander 2, the original cut, should never have aired. The Renegade cut eliminates the whole alien storyline.
Look Who's Talking Now.
In fact,
Yes.
like Super Baby Geniuses 2 was one of the
Yep.
movies on there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Super Babies Baby Geniuses 2. One Missed Call. Pinocchio. Jaws the Revenge.
Nutcracker in 3D was one of the.
Yep. Gotti, which I have been told it's a horrible movie. Which it's funny how many John Travolta movies are on here. So Gotti, Look Who's Talking Now, and then there was another one on here that was Saturday Night Staying Alive.
Oh, Saturday Night Fever 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And then the other bad movies: Dark Crimes, Stratton, The Ridiculous Six, Cabin Fever, Max Steel, which I actually enjoyed, but I'm a weird guy like that.
I watched the cartoons first.
Precious Cargo, Max Force or Mega Force rather.
Megaforce.
Mega Force.
That's a movie there.
Amazing.
Simon Says, The Leisure Class, The Thing with Two Heads, which just looks stupid, Roller Boogie, and Heart Beeps.
Andy Kaufman.
And Mac and Me. So,
Listen.
you know, yep.
We should review Megaforce.
We should. All right. I know I have it on Plex.
So do I.
I will-
Although I have the Rift Tracks version.
I think I have the real
listen,
version.
man. Megaforce is. I can tell you right now that is my Schneikes McSchnikerson.
That's yeah. I think Megaforce might be the definition of a Schneikes bad movie. If you had not seen it before.
I just remember the flying motorcycles at the end.
You know, any one of these bad movies, you're like, I can't wait to tell other people about this terrible movie. That's Schneikes.
Oh. All right, but tonight...
Wait a minute.
Yes, what?
So, according to Wikipedia,
Is there a Megaforce
5
sequel?
days ago, Iron Sky 2 was supposed to have been released.
Oh. That was the one with dinosaurs, right? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yes.
Iron Sky, The Coming Race. It doesn't say that it's out yet. January 16th, 2019 was supposed to be its initial release in Finland. So, I haven't seen it yet. And
The trailer is out.
yeah, the Iron Sky 2 trailer number 3 is out. They've had 3 trailer releases for this movie. So yeah. It is oh boy, I'm going to tell you. This is a movie that is sci-fi movie Iron Sky 2 delayed once more but still set. Okay, so we'll have to see when it's available, Mike. And you can pull a mandatory.
Oh, and I will pull a mandatory on that one.
We'll have to find it somewhere on something, but yes. All right, so
All right, let's move.
the 2 movies that we had tonight were Guardians. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's I don't even know how to look for it in IMDb.
Guardians 2017.
Okay, I found it.
found it.
Guardians 2017. I have to add this English dub.
Yes.
And then was it Escape? Was
No.
it No Escape?
No Escape.
No Escape was the name of the other movie that we had to watch. which was the rare Owen Wilson action movie.
Which my mom kept asking me over and over again, why was this movie on the list? Because it's not a bad movie as it traditionally was. I had to explain, Shaggy decided to put some regular movies on the list too. Maybe this is one of those.
Okay,
Well,
let's start with No Escape.
All right, let's start with No Escape. All right, so I didn't write a review, but I'll go first. All right, so No Escape for me was it was an odd movie. It was the premise is pretty simple of this movie. Okay, guy tries to make it big, fails, so then he has to take a job in a fourth world country, as his wife calls it, because it's even lower than third world. The day after they get there, a revolution starts, and they're executing all the Americans, so they have to try and flee, all the while avoiding the rebellion. Okay? Now, Pierce Brosnan is brought into this film as a really weird character. Okay? At first, I'm like, oh, he's a drug smuggler. Then I'm like, oh, he's a gun runner. And at one point, I thought, oh, he's into human trafficking, or child labor, it was really hard for me to figure out what the heck his role was until he actually explained it.
I kind of, just to agree with you real quick, I kind of assumed he was like Captain Ron.
Yeah. So,
Continue.
So it was really weird, but I think they needed it. They needed him in this movie because Owen Wilson's star was kind of fading. All right, and so they needed the Pierce Brosnan star to brighten it up a bit so that maybe people would watch this thing. Because honestly, it's a pretty dark movie for Owen Wilson. And if you just told me that this movie had just Owen Wilson in it, I think, oh, it's going to be some rom-com or something, some goofy comedy, kind of like Correspondence from the last round of reviews. All right, if you told me it was going to be a wartime movie, I think, oh, it's along the lines of Correspondence. It's funny wartime movie with Owen Wilson in it. It's not. It's very dark. There's lots of blood and violence and gore. This isn't the movie that you want to take your kids to go see. All right, not that you could, because I don't know what movie theater ever showed this. As far as I can tell, this went directly to streaming. So, I mean, for me, it was an interesting show. Will I watch it again? No. But it was enthralling. It was short enough where it didn't get too boring. There were a couple scenes I was somewhat uncomfortable with. So I will go ahead and I'll give it a smirk.
Okay. It was in wide release in the U.S., by the way.
Oh, I never heard of it.
It was back in 2015. It got $8 million in its opening weekend. $27 million total. So if it's $16 million budget, hey, it made money. So the best part of this movie is the beginning of the movie. In fact, the beginning of the movie, it felt like one of those kung fu type, Asian movies, action movies. I don't know. I just said, "Oh, this looks pretty good." Then it turned out, no, not that. This is not a good movie. It is a real movie, shot by actual people who know what they're doing. So this is not in the same genre as many bad movies that we've done. So, basically, a father who failed at his first company he goes to Southeast Asia to work for a water company, which is basically trying to bankrupt a country. And surprise, surprise, the people figure out, hey, this is bad. And so they just decide to start killing everybody indiscriminately. I was looking through some of the things about this movie. There's a lot of complaints that this is a very xenophobic movie because everybody in it who is Asian either gets killed or wants to kill everybody else. So that I could see. here's an interesting filmmaking thing about this movie that I thought was very interesting. Okay, so of the 4 lead characters, 1 is male, and then a wife and 2 daughters. Okay, the plot manages to arrange it so that the females in the family are all wearing bathing suits, which makes a heck of a lot of sense when you're going through the entire movie. You know, not being able to find bathrooms and stuff like that, and you know, just the fact that they're wearing bathing suits underneath actual clothes, so it's not a hey, look at female bodies thing, but they are wearing the bathing suits the entire time. I just thought that was a nice way to make everything work from a they're not covered of crap by the end of the movie, I guess, kind of thing. That's about the best I can come up with this movie. It bored the crap out of me. I was only worried, as I am always worried with this type of movie. Okay, there's a contract I think these kind of movies have with me as an audience, which is the little girls cannot be killed. If the little girls get killed, then this movie is dead to me. This gets the whatever it is, the Mike's super duper ultra crap category.
Kill with fire.
Yeah, that is a kill with fire offense. To a lesser case, if they kill the dog, that also gets it. But you know, that's not quite as bad as if it's anything with parents and kids, and the parents have put their kids in the bad spot. Now, I will say these are some of the most annoying kids in an action movie I have ever seen. One of these daughters almost kills the father at least 3 times in this movie.
Yeah, well,
I have dealt with lots of annoying kids. I have dealt with lots of not annoying kids. I will just say I do not believe my nephews would ever have been quite this annoying if my brother-in-law had ever been stupid enough to take them to a southeastern Asian country he'd never been to before without scouting out the situation beforehand. So I would just say every character in this movie is crap. And if everybody had just died at the beginning of the movie with it before we met them, like the plane had blown up and stuff, that would have been just peachy. Wow. The father is terrible for bringing his family here. The wife is terrible for letting the family be brought there. The kids are just terrible. Everybody's terrible. Terrible people. But I don't want to give it a smirk. I don't want to give any less. I hate rating this movie.
So is it a meh?
One less than a meh. So it's not meh. It's just not good. But I don't want to call it, you know, puke or anything. So whatever we have that's one less than meh, that's what this will be.
Well, we actually have a meh -1. So.
Okay. Yeah. I did not like this movie.
All right. So, I had seen this movie before. So, when it came up, I was like, okay, great. But it's been so long, I had to watch it again. So, as always, my reviews may come with a huge spoiler alert. Very beginning. You know why the security guard slit his own throat? Because you never go outside the building where the person you're guarding is sitting. Ever. I'm pretty sure that's rule number 1 when you go to security or bodyguard school. Don't leave the person you're guarding. 14-hour flight. Now, okay, so here's what I refer to as my bright eyes moment, which is the biggest plot hole that happens in the very beginning, and the entire movie still goes on despite this fact. Any father, Colin, you are absolutely right. The wife and kids had no business being there. You're taking a job in an overseas country. You go, get settled, then bring the family over. Not everybody goes in at once. The world don't work that way. And she brings a rice cooker. Owen Wilson actually said the smartest thing in the entire movie at this point, and he said, "We came to Asia. I'm pretty sure they know how to make rice here." Kind of racist, but very true. And for an engineer, the fact that he let her bring a rice cooker from the USA to Asia, where instead of plug, you have plug. No amount of personality is going to make up for that in a wife, that she lugs a rice cooker halfway around the world. White man walking around, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man walking around in a foreign country, not knowing where he's going. This just screams there are going to be problems. Lost the map. Thank God he didn't lose his key card. Which leads me to the question, he used the key card to work the elevator. Why couldn't he use the key card to get into the hotel room? He's finding all these guys that are dead. And not once does he think to grab a weapon. You got half of a nation coming after you with guns and machetes and Molotov cocktails and giant bamboo spears and stuff. Not once do you think to grab a weapon to defend yourself. Later on, he grabs a brick. A brick. Instead of a firing squad, they show a scene where 4 people are kneeled down in front of people with guns, and the truck comes and runs them over. Did not see that coming. No pun intended.
Yeah, me neither.
That's some psychological shit right there. I'm sorry. Only Pierce Brosnan could play that role. And only Pierce Brosnan can make it acceptable to take a family with 2 young children to hide out in a brothel/opium den. Did not like that they were feeding everyone dog. But I did kind of laugh when how he explained it off, that chicken that they feed raisins to so the meat tastes sweeter.
Yep.
For no, I had to go smirk on this one. The biggest problem I had here was not so much with the children, but I just didn't feel like there was chemistry with the family. Like, I didn't believe that they were an actual family. So I think that made it harder for me to actually vest myself into the story. But Pierce Brosnan's character also served the purpose of explaining why the revolution happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, if you blink, you're going to miss it. So I'm not going to reveal that one, but his character does explain why things went sideways. Where the hell did the rebels get a tank? Guys, I wanted to, like, I was praying. I'm looking on the internet for somebody who has spliced together Ludacris from the one Fast and Furious movie. Like, guys, they got a tank. So I give this a smirk.
All right. So next up, Mike did his due diligence, and he found an English dub of the movie that I was going to put on the list, but I couldn't find it in English. And English is a requirement. I have to say it was an interesting watching experience. We watched the 2017 Russian film Guardians. Okay, now, first off, we talk about movies that don't need a reboot, okay, or shouldn't be remade. I think this one should be remade. I want to see a U.S. studio remake this movie. All right, I want to see George Lucas or Michael Bay or somebody take this movie and do it again. Because, honestly, the movie wasn't horrendous. All right? Don't get me wrong. It wasn't great. All right? They basically had... All right, so this is a knockoff of Avengers. Actually, it's a knockoff of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, is what it is. If you think about it. If you go through the movie step by step, the first thing they have to do in the movie is get the recruits. They have to recruit all the people that are in the super team. Okay? It reminded me a lot of Sean Connery going out and getting all the people from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Okay? So and you got to see all their powers in display while he was recruiting them. So there wasn't a big question about who had the power to do what. Okay, I thought that was a good callback. Now, I'm sure that they weren't trying to spoof League of Extraordinary Gentlemen because they're still watching The Facts of Life. All right, so they haven't gotten that movie there yet. But when they do, they're going to be amazed. All right, so this was, and I'll tell you what, with the overdubbing, I didn't even notice it. I didn't even notice that the lips and the things weren't making after a while, after like 10 minutes. I didn't even notice it anymore. What I did notice was that, boy, they must have done it through Google Translate, because sometimes the verbiage that was used seemed a little bit disjointed. All right. Is there anything else you need? No, sir. May I be excused? Yes, you may be excused. Thank you, sir. I mean, there was no flow at some times to the words that were being said. So, I mean, it's obvious that it was like, they didn't really take it to a translator. They took it to like a Russian to English dictionary is what they did. And they just said, what's this word? Oh, it's this word. Okay. But you have this whole concept of this team of people that are put together to go after the guy who manipulated them, a la like Avengers 2. So it was just it was a good movie, good action movie. Although I don't know how up to date Russian news is, because I would have thought that seeing a skyscraper tower come down in the middle of Moscow and then being transported by about 24 helicopters and what looked like a space missile launcher would have been a top story, and they would have had some comments about it. And everybody said, we don't know where it came from. Hello, that's something you should know. And Russians are really concerned about people rebuilding after the event, too, because that's always missed in the Avengers movies. In the Avengers movie, we never heard where people from the Sokovia were going to be staying, while their houses were rebuilt. Not so with the Guardians here. We get to know exactly where they're going to be staying, and that it's okay for them to go back home. So it's nice that they tied up that little ribbon that we don't get to see with American movies. I mean, we get this oversimplification. But that is Russian movies. Russian movies tell us, hey, citizen, here is what you need to know. And here is everything's going to be fine, and the government gives it to you. And, my only big question about this movie is, one, why did they pick the boss guy from Mortal Kombat to be the bad guy? All right, because that's what he looked like to me. And the second one is, how long was he working on writing that basic code that he was uploading to the satellite that they could do that big-ass training montage? Because that seemed like it was a little bit long for my tastes. All right, third thing, what the hell good is becoming a bear? All right, because the man bear, which I think they really missed an opportunity here. They should have thrown a pig in there. That way he could have been Man Bear Pig, and South Park people would have gotten a reference in there. Man Bear seemed like he was pretty jacked and useful and smart and, good and strong enough. Why did taking it to a next level turn him into just a bear? I mean, he didn't seem any stronger. He actually seemed less efficient as a bear. So maybe somebody can explain to me why being a bear was better. I mean, it was like a Digimon going to the ultimate phase, and it was worse. So, anyway, but you know what's weird is I have to give this movie a smile. I didn't want to. I really didn't want to. I wanted to hate this movie, but I didn't, man. I want to see him do it all in English, and I want, like, good actors. And I don't even care if they take the Mortal Kombat actors and put them in there. I'm okay with it. So, yeah, smile for me.
Okay.
Colin?
I have to disagree. This is not a cross between the Avengers and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay.
It's a cross between the Avengers and Captain Planet.
Oh, I forgot that part, yeah.
Yes.
Because first off, the bad guy here is a cross of two Captain Planet bad guys. It's a cross between Duke Nukem and Hoggus Greedley. Because, like Duke Nukem, he glows from inside, and like Hoggus Greedley, he looks like a human pig. This movie is just a complete mismatch of superheroes that we know, okay? So first you have their Captain America version, who has been crossed with the Hulk, but turned into a bear. Then you have... Well, actually, I have no idea who the Rock guy is supposed to be.
Oh, that's easy. That's the Earthbender from the Avatar.
But he's been given the weapon from the bad guy from the second Iron Man movie.
But he also transforms into the Thing from.
I'm sorry. Yes, yes. Thank you. I forgot. Yes, he's the Thing. He's the Thing analog with the Whiplash's whips.
Yeah.
Then you have...
Or he's Gorignac, the rock monster from Galaxy Quest.
Because I thought he looked more like Raiden from Mortal Kombat when he had the whip thing.
Well, yeah, but... well, go on, Colin.
Yeah, sorry.
So then you have an Invisible Woman, who's actually been in just about every single possible comic book series. And the Flash analog, fast person, but one with really big sword things. Yeah. So he's kind of the cross. So he's sort of Wolverine and sort of the Flash. Yeah, but they're all working for something which is much like S.H.I.E.L.D., except it was called Patriot, which they actually managed to rewrite in some of the screens, but sometimes you can see that it was supposed to be just some... I'm really interested to know what that word actually was in Russian, and if it really does mean Patriot, or if it's just because the Cyrillic sort of looks like Patriots, they decided to go with it. There's a lot about this movie that I'm really kind of wanted to watch with subtitles, because I do like watching subtitles. I've been interested to see what was badly translated for the vocal track. But, okay, here... Mostly my actual scoring stuff, I will go with what Shaggy said. But I did want to cover one major plot thing in this movie that I found absolutely hilarious. So, the bad guy is able to... He's sort of like... he can take over anything mechanical. How that's supposed to work, I have no idea. I mean, I could see taking over robots, great, but how is he taking care? Why is he taking care of trucks that are just mechanical Russian trucks with no computers in them whatsoever? It doesn't make any sense. But none of this movie does. Plot point is he's going to create a giant antenna to reach out into space to get this old Soviet probe that was able to destroy cities with its ray. But he needs an antenna bigger than any building on the planet to be able to reach this thing. So the idea is he gets a giant communication tower, and then he takes it to the tallest building in Russia. And they say the combined size of both of those buildings is tall enough to create this antenna necessary for him to reach the probe. Great. Except he takes this giant communication tower, which is covered with cell tower antennas, and he sticks it on top of a piece of glass next to the really tall building. Not on top of the big, tall building. Adjacent to it, sitting on top of a glass roof of an atrium. Which you can see from underneath it. You look up. Oh, it's sitting on top of this piece of glass. That's not the same thing as putting it on top of the building, making a giant antenna. That's standing next to it. And then he doesn't use it as an antenna at all at any point. He just sits on top of it. No part of this movie makes much sense, but it is a lot of fun to watch because it is very silly. It is too bad that the company that made it actually went bankrupt, so the planned sequel is not going to happen. Because if it did happen, I would watch it.
I didn't know there was a planned sequel.
But yeah, they said at the end, there's more of you.
Oh, yeah.
So you went Smile?
Yes.
Was the rating? Okay. Well, I'm kind of surprised because right off the bat, I had very high expectations for this movie. When the credits were rolling, film company Big Cinema. It sounds very Russian, doesn't it? And the first note I wrote was, I suspect after this film, the no subtitles rule is going to be expanded to no subtitles or dubs. And I guess not, because this would work. I kept hearing the voices, and I kept saying to myself, that one guy sounds like the voice from Metal Gear. Like I'm hearing video game voices that I recognize from other stuff. Now, I'm not quite sure why the Lord's Prayer couldn't be dubbed and had to be subtitled when the guy's saying it, but okay. So now I'm gonna blow your mind, because this movie actually was not a ripoff of X-Men, but it kind of was. But it takes one of your superhero movies and crosses it, not with another superhero movie, although your comparisons were very, noble effort. The fact is, this was combined with Star Wars.
Okay.
I will proceed to explain. The drones in the very beginning very much look like the ones in Attack of the Clones. So I wonder if this is implying that the Russians actually funded the construction of the Death Star. And perhaps the giant satellite was the original Death Star prototype. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy, his goal is to make a clone army, which we later find out was successful in Attack of the Clones. Further proof that the Russian conspiracy actually was not about getting Trump elected. It's linked to the Death Star and the Galactic Empire. But wait, how does Trump's Space Force tie into all of this? Oh my God, there's the satellite. Space Force, Star Wars, the bad dude soldier's army. This is all before the Sand People, the ones that survived, migrated to Tatooine and became the Sand People. So in conclusion, this movie proves that the Galactic Empire is actually Russia in the future.
Well, and didn't some of the Imperial Guard wear red? There you go.
There you go. I also gave it a smile. Mainly because it was fun to watch. Okay? And that's really that's all I hope for these movies, is that yes, we're going to find diamonds in the rough. We're going to find ones that, yes, they become perennial favorites. But if you can just have fun watching a movie, that's really when you're looking at bad movies, that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Now, to answer your question about the bear, why going full bear?
Yeah.
I think this is like the Hulk. The bear is actually a separate personality.
Well, yeah, he mentioned
Right?
that, but
And he struggles to control how much bear is allowed to come out. And he fears that when he loses the grip and the bear comes out fully, that he may never be able to come back from that. So my theory is it's just like the Hulk, how through all of Ragnarok, it was Hulk, not
Right.
Banner. And then Hulk didn't want to come out during Infinity War. Oh, sorry, more spoilers. If you listen to the show and you haven't seen either of those movies, then I can't help you.
yeah.
But that's my theory about the bear portion. And of course, Russian bear. That's why they mixed them with the bear.
Yeah, I just didn't understand why bear was more powerful than man bear, and because it didn't look that way.
Yeah, it's true. I do have to circle back and realize I forgot the end of my review, which was to say, and then at the end, the Guardians defeat the bad guy by letting their powers combine.
Yeah.
So that finishes off the Captain Planet thing. Not just that the bad guys look like Captain Planet,
I will say this.
but they had to let their powers combine.
I will say this. If they were going to do a sequel, all right, which they had planned, but they can't because they're broke. Yakov needs to come and be the new captain of the squad.
Yeah, what they should have done.
No.
What they should have done is give powers to the woman.
She should have been. I thought originally that she was like holding it back, and that like it was she was secretly she was one of these people, but no, she's Agent Coulson.
I think I would like to see.
Well, she started off Agent Coulson, and now she's Nick Fury.
Right, but she should.
I would like to see the Russian cosmonaut from Armageddon.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Maybe he could be the bad guy.
So the reason why this movie failed in Russia is that, according to the maker of the movie,
Was it too smart for him?
No, people in Russia don't actually know these superheroes from the U.S., and so they don't know. So we see these, they're like, oh, they copied this person, they copied this person. But in Russia, they don't know those people in the first place. So there's no cultural feedback to this movie from them whatsoever. If they'd been like Baba Yaga and stuff, then they'd be like, oh, yeah, it's a Baba Yaga superhero. Okay, we can do something with that. But no. If you don't know who the Thing is in the first place, then a Russian version of the Thing doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
This is true. Yeah.
Alrighty. So getting on to next show's movies.
Oh, yeah.
Mike,
wonderful.
What are we at?
We are at 37.
37. 35.
Oh, Lord. I'm guessing this is probably still available. Undo that. It's on Amazon. It is a Jackie Chan movie called Bleeding Steel.
I may have added that one. In fact, I think I added it last show.
In this fantastical action film, martial arts legend Jackie Chan stars as a police inspector tracking down a deranged villain who is out to kidnap his daughter.
Hang on.
Audio is in English.
It is in English, okay.
It is in English according to this.
That's why I added it.
I was just checking because you never know with Jackie Chan. Next up, number 2.
Number 2. I'm in the wrong tab. Number 2. Also on Amazon, Stark Raving Mad.
Oh, goody. I'm glad that one's coming up because I wanted to watch that one. So this is a Sean William Scott movie. This is a caper movie.
Ooh.
Sean William Scott.
You labeled it as a heist movie. So
A heist movie.
Are you tempering that to?
Well, let me tell you. Sean William Scott is convinced he has come up with the perfect plan when he arranges a massive rave to cover up a bank heist. He assembles a crack team of accomplices and goes to work. Everything should go off with a hitch if the rave stays loud enough, if the team can drill through the wall in time, and if no one catches them once they are inside.
Okay, I will say that I'm looking at the cast list there.
Uh-huh.
And I'm saying that you are tempering one of my least favorite actors of all time with 2 actors that I like very much.
So this is Sean William Scott, Lou Diamond Phillips, and Dave Foley. What a cast.
At least I hope that's Dave
Which
Foley,
one is
though.
your least favorite?
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, I'm sure he likes... It's got 3.1 out of 5 stars on Amazon. So, yeah.
Who wants to lay odds that Sean William Scott tries to figure out how to show his penis in this movie again?
No, he didn't show his penis in the movie.
He's
that
not
was
the one that-
was from the Game Over guy.
Is that what that is?
No,
Oh, maybe I'm...
no.
Okay, what's the other guy's name?
Stifler.
Yeah, Sean William Scott is
Okay.
Game Over Man is
David
from,
Jason. Yeah,
that
give
was
me
a
his name. I'll
Netflix.
write his name down and try to remember it so I don't make a mistake.
It is Adam Devine. It's that guy right there.
That's Adam Devine?
Yeah.
I thought that was... Okay.
No.
I really thought that was Sean William Scott.
No. Sean William Scott was
Okay. Got it.
has done movies with The Rock. He's done obviously the American Pie movies.
I should be okay then.
He's
Adam Devine. I'll try to remember. It's Adam.
he played,
Adam Devine is too close to Adam Levine.
He was in Goon.
I'm on track now.
All right.
Okay.
So
When I had the face with the correct name, I immediately knew okay, completely different. Okay, we're good. Adam Devine. Anyway.
all right, folks. With that said, this is. Oh, by the way, quick side note. You said Adam Levine, Maroon 5. Maroon 5 was in town last week.
Yes, he was.
For our governor's inauguration. Funny enough, the same day that they were in town for that, they were also announced that they were going to be playing the Super Bowl halftime show. And one of the local radio show announcers said they're not good enough to play the football show, to play Super Bowl, the halftime show at Super Bowl on the air, and their manager happened to be listening. And so the manager called into the local radio station, and the DJ didn't know that they were in town, so he thought it was a joke, and he told off the manager.
Oh, Lord.
Because it was a secret who was playing the inaugural ball.
I heard a story, too, that someone who was at the inaugural ball didn't know who they were. I just thought they were some weird band. Yeah. And someone said, no, they're playing the Super Bowl. See? Yeah. Oh, okay.
So with all that said, folks, don't forget to check out the website, ptrradio.com. That's where you can get all the information about the show, as well as our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds. You can also subscribe to the podcast. Please do, so that you can check out every episode of the show and never miss one. We are making sure that those go up on YouTube now, so sorry if the video streams haven't been going up on YouTube, but they will be going up from now on. As always, check us out there, and on the next show, I'll be talking about my upcoming trivia night, so look for me there. All right, Colin, anything?
No.
Mike, anything? No?
I'm very happy to be here.
All right, folks. With that said, stick and fork in us. We are done. I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the 8-Man.
All right, later, folks. Bye.